The Nigerian government says fake news, disinformation, and hate speech are the antics of the naysayers. They believe it poses real threats to the nation's unity. We dissect the issues and find out why in a bit. Many thanks for joining in, everyone. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbalo in Lagos. Let's bring you up to speed with some of the stories that we are following for you. The National Association of Resident Doctors has down tools, and it's going to be an indefinite one. So they say the association's National Executive Council met and resolved to embark on industrial action, which they say would continue until all their demands are met by government. But the federal government is frowning at fake news. To them, the rising trend is not funny. Neither do they think it is done without motive. The most recent of such fake news was a story about the president traveling to the United States. That news flourished online, and unsuspecting members of the public consumed that piece of information. The reactions were already negative. The Minister of Information and Culture, Mr. Lai Mohammed, rubbished the reports, describing them as fake news. The source of the fake news is one of the numerous parody Twitter accounts in the minister's name. The Information and Culture Minister explained that recent developments and justified the concerns about the misuse of the social media. I have joining us on the program tonight the Special Advisor on Media and Publicity to the President, Mr. Femi Adesina, in our Abuja studio. And here in Lagos, I have the Senior Editor and a member of Editorial Board and columnist of the Guardian newspaper, Mr. Martins Oloja. Many thanks for coming on the program.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me quickly come to you, Mr. Adesina, especially on a developing story that we're following here. There's been some gale of strikes, downtooling by workers in the country. The first was university lecturers, and now resident doctors have followed suit. What is the president doing to stop this trend?
Thank you. Well, yes, the president is the captain of the team, but then you know that the president has so many other people working with him who we can say will be the first line of defense when it comes to things like this. For the doctors is the Minister of Health first, and that will be done in conjunction with the Minister of Labor and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, who fortunately also is a medical doctor. And of course, for ASU, you know there's a Minister for Education, and that is also being done along with the Minister of Labor, Dr. Chris Ngige. So that is the first line of engagement. I think the president is the very last line of engagement. But knowing that the president is the captain of the team, his interest will be that there is peace and tranquility in every sector in the country. So the needful will be done.
On a day like this, Mr. Adesina, being the spokesperson of the president, I will be almost certain that the president should be worried about these strike actions. First, the lecturers, and now the medical doctors. Now, we're going into a working day tomorrow. What would you say to workers who are down tools and perhaps to douse the tension about the gale of strikes that we've seen in the past days?
Yes, naturally, the president will be concerned because he is here to ensure that every sector of the polity, every Nigerian gets the best from the polity. So naturally, he should be concerned if there are gales of strikes all around. And he will do the best through his aides, through the ministers and those that have been appointed to be the first point of contact on those things. The best will be done.
Okay, just perhaps a last one on these issues of strike and workers' grievances. The issue of minimum wage has been a major one on the lips of many workers across the country. What can you tell us as the latest that the government is doing, especially when you look back at the promises of government during the campaign period in 2015 about the number of people that will be employed? What exactly is the APC government doing in this regard?
You will recall that a committee has been empaneled to work that out, which is like a rainbow committee drawn from different parts, the public sector, the private sector, all stakeholders. A committee is already empaneled to work on that, and as soon as the committee concludes its work, I'm sure the next steps will be taken.
Okay, let's go to major story of the day, Mr. Additional. In February of this year, the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, said the country is under siege of disinformation and fake news that can bring the country on her knees if not checked. He did say again earlier this year that that the federal government will not relent until it has exposed those behind the fake news phenomenon in the country and bring them to justice. My first question to you will be, has the Buhari government been able to unravel why people may want to deliberately spread false news or information about your government?
Yeah, there are many reasons. I can't speak for those who are behind this development, but I can hazard guesses why they do it. You know, one would be pure mischief, to just cause disenchantment in the country. For instance, when they came yesterday with the fake news that the president was traveling to the United States of America today, if you see the last line of that story, it was said that the trip may not be unconnected to the president's health. Can you just imagine that? I took time to read some of the reactions that followed that fake news, and you could see people saying all sorts of rubbish. That was their intention, so that they can expose the president to odium, if possible. So one reason is mischief, to cause odium, to cause disenchantment. Another reason will also be to demarket somebody. You want to demarket somebody and play up another person. That's why they also purvey fake news. Then, of course, another one is they want traffic to their websites, to their blogs and all that. They want traffic because traffic often determines advertising. So they want traffic, and they will stop at no extent to drive that traffic, which I think is very unscrupulous.